Welcome into the Cowboys Report. We are here for our instant reaction to the Cowboys' 40-37 overtime thriller victory today. I am Chris Daughtry, filling in today for Tom Downey. So appreciate everybody joining us here on the Cowboys Report. If it wasn't for Brandon Aubrey, you probably would have went out there and lost this game today, but he is our alien. So the Cowboys win this one, a nail-biter as time expired in overtime, 40-37. And we also got some breaking news at the end of today's game as well. That's why you guys need to be subscribed right here to the Cowboys Report. Tom is out today, but we are filling in for him, and we'll have videos for you guys all season long, including our watch parties all season long as well. So join us here at the Cowboys Report, and make sure you guys hit that sub button for me right now. Before we get into the instant reaction for this game today, pretty much as soon as the game went final, news was broke. Jerry Jones announcing that the Cowboys are going to be signing free agent defensive end Jadeveon Clowney, And it seems right now, we don't know the exact details on the contract, but it does sound like it's going to be a pretty cheap team-friendly deal here for Jadeveon Clowney signing with the Dallas Cowboys. And I do think he can probably help you out at that defensive end spot in some of those pass rush situations. Is he going to be a, instant fix for this Cowboys defense? Definitely not. As we'll talk about here in just a little bit, you think you probably need to sign somebody or trade for somebody in the secondary right now. But at the end of the day, this is a good signing by the Dallas Cowboys, and it does also sound like it is going to be a pretty cheap deal signing Jadeveon Clowney. So get down to the comments section and let me know. Grade the Jadeveon Clowney signing, A, B, C, or D, or F. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments section of today's show. Before we get to some of the reactions, let's go over some injury news from today's game. KaVonte Turpin ended up leaving with a neck injury. Don't know exactly the severity on that injury. He was returning a kickoff, kind of got bent up, and then kind of got hit helmet to helmet and kind of bent that neck up there. So he ended up leaving the game and did not return. You also had Cooper Beebe at the end of regulation today. As we were going into overtime, it was kind of reported that Cooper Beebe had a right ankle injury, kind of sprained that. He was coming out of the locker room, had some crutches as well. So two big injuries there for the Cowboys. They also went in, the first two plays of overtime. They had Brock Hoffman in there at center, and I think it was the second play of overtime where Dak Prescott ended up fumbling that snap, which I really don't know if I'm going to necessarily put that on Brock Hoffman or on Dak Prescott. Maybe a little bit of fault on both of those parties there, but I do think it is big that Cooper Beebe ended up leaving that game today and did not come back. There wasn't a ton of time to come back for him. That happened as soon as you were going into overtime, but that would be a massive loss for the Cowboys along that offensive line if you can't get Cooper Beebe back pretty soon. So let me know down at the pinned comment of today's video, what is your one-word reaction to the Cowboys' thrilling overtime victory against the Giants? Let me know what you guys think. Could be mediocre, could be awful, could be whoo, wow, whatever. Let me know what you guys think down at the pinned comment of today's video. My number one takeaway for this ball game today was just how bad your secondary played in this game today. And it's something that Tom has talked about a lot. He's never really been confident in this Cowboys secondary. Pretty much everybody in that secondary was getting cooked today. Russell Wilson was nearly perfect in this game today. Almost 500 yards on the Cowboys defense today. He went 30 for 41, 3 touchdowns. But that interception by Donovan Wilson is really what helped the Cowboys out win that game in overtime today. They have got to do something about this secondary. Pretty much everybody out there, whether it was Trayvon Diggs, whether it was Donovan Wilson, Malik Hooker, Kaiir Elam, everybody was getting cooked. Malik Neighbors went absolutely insane in this ball game today. 9 catches for 167 yards and 2 touchdowns. And it seemed like every single time the Cowboys had an opportunity to get off the field on third downs, the Giants went to Wendell Robinson. He also had 8 catches for 142 yards and a touchdown in this ball game as well. That's something that absolutely has to be fixed. I don't know it necessarily if it was, the guys that are actually in there. Is it execution? Is it this Matt Eberflus, system? I'm not real sure on that front. Going to have to go back and watch some of the All-22 and see if there were, blown assignments, see if it's an execution thing or is it just the players. But the number one takeaway, man, this secondary today was absolutely god-awful. On the flip side, I thought your run defense was actually pretty good in this game. You had multiple guys that really did stand out. Solomon Thomas, I thought, played pretty good along that defensive line. You also had Kenny Clark also make some plays along the defensive line as well, stuffing the run. The Giants ended up in the run game today. They had 21 carries for only 84 yards, averaging 4 yards per carry. That was something that we talked about in the pregame as well. Cam Scadaboo had a pretty decent day there for the Giants, but just overall, I thought that defensive line actually played pretty decent when it came to stopping the run. When it came to getting a pass rush, really didn't have much on that. But just overall, if the Giants were able to run the ball a little bit today, you probably would have lost this ball game. They can only throw the ball. So kudos to that defensive line and just at least being able to stop the run. We'll continue with our instant reaction here in just a second, but today's show is brought to you by Prize Picks. You and I make decisions every single day, but on Prize Picks, being right can actually get you paid. Don't miss any of the excitement this season on Prize Picks, where it is good to be right. I personally use Prize Picks for so many different types of sporting events, whether it's professional football, baseball, basketball, college sports, MMA, boxing, and so much more. Prize Picks is a ton of fun, and if you guys know ball, you can win real money all season long on Prize Picks. This was the power play that we put together for today's game. Brandon Aubrey went with a more than on 2.5 PATs, got that one. CeeDee Lamb, more than 76.5 receiving yards, got that one. And then we also have the max discount there for Travis Kelce. The original stat projection was 47.5 receiving yards, but the max discount is only a half receiving yard there for Travis Kelce. So make sure if you get your Prize Picks lineups, get that in today. That's the power play. But Prize Picks also invented the flex play as well, which means you guys can cash out on your lineup. If it is not perfect, you can double your money even if one of your picks does not hit. Prize Picks is the best way to get action on sports in more than 40 different states, including California, Texas, Florida, and Georgia. So download the Prize Picks app today and use promo code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's promo code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That link is down in the description of today's show. It's also going to be down at the pinned comment of today's show as well. It's Prize Picks. It's good to be right. All right, my third takeaway for this game today, Brandon Aubrey. That's it. Just Brandon Aubrey. If you did not have the best kicker in the NFL, the Cowboys would have ended up losing today's game. He had 4 field goals plus also the 4 extra points as well in this game today. Had that long of 64 and also that sent you into overtime, and then also had the game-winning field goal as time expired. Look, Brandon Aubrey is the best kicker in the NFL. No ifs, ands, ors, or buts about it. If you didn't have him today, you definitely would have ended up losing this game. So I want you guys to get down in the comment section. Kickers aren't people. That's something that Tom says all the time. So what we do is call Brandon Aubrey the alien because he is out of this world. So get down there. If you're watching on your cell phone, spam those alien emojis in the comment section of today's video. My takeaway number 4 of today's game. Your run game actually kind of got going in this one. I thought Javonte Williams ran the ball really hard for the Cowboys today. He had 18 carries for 97 yards, including a couple times on, 3rd and 4th down where he ended up, breaking away, breaking some tackles, and we're able to make some really big plays for the Cowboys today. Everybody else, Miles Sanders really didn't do much. Only 5 carries for him for 15 yards. But Javonte Williams, I thought, had a really, really good game for the Cowboys, including that touchdown run. I think that was 30 yards right up the middle for him. Had a couple broken tackles on that play as well. Getting the run game going is something that this Cowboys team needs to do. And it even started off pretty slow. It was something that Javonte Williams and this offensive line had to get going, and they ended up doing that in today's game. Number 5 takeaway for this game today, the receivers were actually pretty good in this game today. CeeDee Lamb, I thought, had a bounce-back game for the Cowboys today. He had 9 receptions for 112 yards. Did have a pretty big drop in the first half, but look, he had 11 targets in this game, caught 9 of them, and just overall, thought CeeDee Lamb had a pretty decent game. I thought Jake Ferguson at that tight end position as well. He had 9 receptions for 78 yards. And, specific times throughout that game when the Cowboys really needed a big play, whether it was, 3rd and long. I don't remember exactly if it was like right at halftime or kind of right before the clock expired there. Jake Ferguson had a really, really big catch in the middle. I think it was right at the end of the game is when it was actually. He had that big catch on like 3rd down or whatever it was, got the Cowboys down to the 50-yard line, and they were able to set up Brandon Aubrey for that field goal. So at, specific times in the game, Jake Ferguson really did come up big. And then George Pickens, he had kind of a weird game. Early on, the Cowboys were trying to get him the football. He had 9 targets in this game today, and I feel like the first 4 targets ended up being defensive pass interference. They were trying to get him involved early on, especially in the red zone, but just were not able to connect. But by the end of the game, they finally got George Pickens going in this game, had that touchdown at the end of the game as well, right there at that left pylon. I thought just overall, these receivers actually played pretty well today. And, kudos to Dak Prescott, too. He did have some, goofs in today's game, but, 38 for 52, 361 yards, 2 touchdowns, and an interception. Just overall, I thought the Cowboys, they did enough to get the victory today. The offense, played decent, pretty good at times, but, man, the defense played like crap. So that is something that absolutely has to get fixed. So if you made it to the end of today's show, you're probably be wondering, who the hell is this guy? Chris Daughtry here. I'm usually the producer here on the Cowboys Report. Tom is out today, might even be out the next couple days as well. Him and his wife, MK, MK gave birth to their second child. So I want you guys to get down there and spam TJD Theo Joseph Downey is what they're going with the name there for him. Get down there and spam your TJDs down in the comment section and congratulate Tom and NK on the birth of their second child.